I'm speaking to Arseniy Yacenyuk now, former Prime Minister of Ukraine, joining us from Kyiv. Arseniy Yacenyuk, welcome to LBC.
Morning, sir. Thanks for having me.
Very good morning to you.
Well, in Ukraine, it's really good morning, sir.
It is a good morning.
Absolutely, because during the night, Russians launched 35 Iran-made drones, and Ukrainian air defense system managed to shoot down every single Iranian-made drone.
35 Shahed drones have been cut down. So Ukraine is getting better at that.
Definitely. Yeah. We are much stronger with the Ukrainian air defense system, and that's thanks to Patriots and thanks to a number of anti-aircraft and anti-drones missiles that have been delivered to Ukraine by our Western allies.
Yeah. I never know where to start on the subject of Ukraine and the Russian invasion of Ukraine, because I would talk about what's happening there for 3 hours of a 3-hour program, every single program that I do, because it's the biggest news story there is, and it's an extraordinary situation that your country has been through. We were delighted to welcome Elena Zelenska to the coronation here, and it just makes me emotional because it's dropped off the news agenda. It so easily drops off. We have a nuclear plant, Zaporizhia, where local towns are being evacuated. You've got a fight for Bakhmut, where people are dying on an industrial scale, actually on both sides, which seems so hopeless and so helpless. You've got people who are displaced on a massive scale around the world, an entire democratic country being invaded by their neighbor. And so much of the time we spend just twiddling our thumbs. So forgive me my rant, if you will, but I never know where to start.
Well, this is an ongoing war of attrition, and Putin decided actually to conquer Ukraine. He resembles me, Hitler, with his blitzkrieg plan, how to take over an entire Ukraine, and actually this is the threat not only to Ukraine, but to the entire world and to the entire Europe. Ukrainians managed to fend off Russians, and that's on the one hand a miracle. On the other hand, this is a courageous effort that have been made by the Ukrainians to fight against one of the biggest armies in the world. And the Western world and the UK, we all managed to actually stay together, to join our ranks, and not to allow Putin to completely undermine the global order. But the thing is that Putin believes that the time is on his side, sir. And he believes that the Western support is to weighing down, and that he is to get more support from the global South, and that the time will come when he will press Ukraine to get to the so-called negotiating table, but I would dub it as a capitulation table, in order to get the deal on his terms and conditions. This won't happen, sir. This won't happen, and so to put it in the nutshell, this is the biggest military conflict, or this is the biggest war after the Second World War. And as we are talking right now, today is the 8th of May, the day of reconciliation and the day of the victory against the Nazis. The time will come when the free world in Ukraine will overcome new kind of Nazi policy that is spearheaded by President Putin.
You're right to mention that. It is in fact VE Day, and victory is required in Ukraine. People try to work out here as they always project forward. What does victory look like? This remains as a part of Ukrainian government policy, the retaking of all Ukrainian land. Does that include Crimea?
Absolutely, sir. Look, here is the thing. In my humble opinion, victory is just more than to retake all the territories that have been temporarily occupied by the Russian Federation. I mean that Ukrainian military must completely fend off the Russian military, and Ukraine is to restore its territorial integrity within the boundaries of 1991. But the thing is that Ukraine is to get security guarantees. And the only option we have on the table, the real one, is to get NATO membership. And this is my compound of victory. So NATO membership, EU membership, reparations from the Russian Federation, and to bring Russians to justice. So a separate special tribunal is to be set. So Russia to pay the price, both in terms of criminal prosecution and financial prosecution. So this is my formula of the victory, and no doubt it's a long haul, and it is a very bumpy and bloody road. The only solution.
Finland has already joined. There are plans for Sweden to join NATO. When do you imagine it can't happen during this current period of invasion? Can it, that Ukraine joins NATO and therefore is protected under Article 5, where an attack on one is an attack on all, and therefore triggers Article 5. NATO membership can't come until there's peace.
Well, here is the thing. If we dwell into some kind of legal obstacles, there is no legal obstacles in terms of founding documents of NATO to make Ukraine the NATO member as quick as possible. It's all about the political will. I do understand that Ukraine won't get complete and full membership NATO during this Vilnius summit. But my guess and my take is that at this Vilnius NATO summit, which is to be held in 2 months, NATO is to provide a very clear, fast-track roadmap for Ukraine, how to make Ukraine the member of NATO. And this is feasible.
Do you have a message as the former Prime Minister of Ukraine for people who have come to this country, who are Ukrainian and who are making this their home and will probably never return? People from places like Mariupol, which are in effect Russian now, for all intents and purposes, and day-to-day life, from education to culture to building, in effect, they've been completely and utterly destroyed, are being rebuilt, and they are in effect Russian. What message do you have to refugees from your country who are in the UK now?
My message to my fellow Ukrainians is that Ukraine will prevail. The time will come when you will have the chance to go back to your homes. My message to everyone in Europe is that we need to stand strong. We need to act boldly, and we need to stand our ground in order to fight in this righteous war. My message to Brits: Thank you.
Thank you
for
very
everything
much.
you've done.
Thank you for your time this morning. Yatseny Yatseniuk, former Prime Minister of Ukraine.